everybody, it is Liz with Liz Art Finds. We're here today with another haul video. I had so much fun going to estate sales, and I went to one thrift store and then I picked up a couple things from a new auction house. So much this week. And the other thing that's exciting is I also had really good sales. So we'll talk about that both on eBay and on Niknax. So over on eBay this week, I sold 6 things. I sold this giraffe. It was like a Jonathan Adler style. I don't think this was actually Jonathan Adler. I had picked it up for $8. It sold for $35 for a profit of $19.76. This Pyrex dish that I had had for quite some time in my store, I had picked it up for $1.99. It sold for $12.99. It's a small piece. Profit on that looks like $9.83. This piece, I just showed this to you a couple weeks ago. This was the plate that was Pier 1. It was the sunflower plate. I think I picked up 2 different ones. This one sold. I picked it up for 99 cents. It sold for $12 for a total profit of $8.51. The next piece that sold was this Laurel Birch cosmetic bag. I had picked it up for $1.99. It sold for $16.99 for a profit of $13.60. This next one you haven't seen yet because it would have been in this video. And I'll talk about it later, but this is a Nunwell glass cat. I actually got it in a baggie, and I will talk to you about it later because I didn't even see it in the baggie. It was just hidden in there, which I was taking things out of the baggie. I'm like, is that a glass cat? Oh my gosh. Anywho, super valuable. Found him. I attributed $12 to him because I had bought 3 baggies and most of the value actually was in him. So I gave him $12 of attributed value, like I paid, and it sold for $49.99. So basically it sold for $50. Profit on that was $29.54. And then I just sold this sack purse, and I had found that for $5.59 a while back. It sold for $23 for a profit of $13.68. So the total on all of these on eBay, the total profit was $94.92, okay, for the week. Now that's just eBay. Over on Niknax, we're going to talk about 2 shows. I did my Hearts and Flowers show last weekend, and all of these things sold, okay. So we sold 2 of the porcelain trinket boxes. I sold that beautiful stained glass panel. I sold a side and stricker bowl or plate. I think it was a plate. I sold these 2 brooches from the brooch lot I got a while back. I sold these beautiful handmade wooden flowers, the really beautiful metal flowers. Anyway, total, my cost of goods on all of the things that sold for this show was only $33.71. The sales were $132. So my profit on this show was $86.86. There were a lot of things that didn't sell. There were not a zillion people in the room for that show. But then last night I was in the itty bitty train on Niknax and sold a bunch of itty bitties. And it was so much fun. That one had a lot of pre-bids, a lot of people in the room, it was just super fast paced and super fun. And I sold all of these things. My favorite, you haven't seen this yet, but I will show him to you today. He's a Nodder armadillo, super cool. So all these things were under 4 inches. My total cost of goods into all these things, including the ones that were in my Buy It Now, those were from last year's box of Quackers, and somebody bought all of those. So my total cost of all of these things was $34.60, which is what I paid for all of these things. The total sales was $132.58. My total profit was $72.36. So my total for the week across Niknax and eBay, total profit, okay, after the cost of goods and shipping and everything, was $256.78. Okay, that's the best we've done in a while. Okay, so that's pretty exciting. So we've got that going on. And then let's get into the haul, because these estate sales, Actually all of this stuff is stuff that happened on the 30th of January. So I'm a little bit behind in my videos. I do have some more things that I picked up that'll be in the next video. But we're just going to focus on this one day. I took the day off of work. I went to 2 estate sales in the morning. This was on Friday the 30th of January. And then I stopped at one amazing thrift store where I just hit the jackpot. And then I picked up a couple auction things. And then I went over to a girlfriend's house and we went through all my loot and it was so much fun. So, estate sale number 1. Okay, first thing I found, and I ran into the house to get them, were some paperweights. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 amazing paperweights. The artist is Marilyn Kimball Holt, and I have some a little bit of information on her, not much. She is an enigma, okay? So I don't have any photos of her. I know she was in Elkview, West Virginia, and her company was called Glass by Marilyn. And she was doing paperweights and other glass things in the 1990s and early 2000s. Her website is no longer up, and I don't see anything about her. So this is a smaller paperweight. This is a rainbow one. It's got sparkle in there, which is really cool. I love the little flakes in there, but it's a rainbow swirl, like a pastel rainbow swirl. It is just absolutely stunning. It's in excellent condition. The bottom is, you can see just how pristine. It looks like there's a couple little spots there. I just cleaned similar spots off one of the other weights, so I will get that cleaned off. But super, just super condition, no scratches anywhere. And this one is signed Marilyn 2000, okay? I only paid $12 for this one. I think of the 3, this has the most potential for profit because I paid so little on it. So I'm $12 into it. And you know, I said they sell between 30 and 42. I just looked over on Niknax during the paperweight sale from last year. Someone sold a very similar piece to this one for $152, okay? So on eBay, this would probably bring like 45, but if I hold it for my paperweight show, I may be able to, it may go higher depending on who's in the room, right? But this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of her work, okay? I got 2 more, also by Marilyn Kimball Holt. Okay, the next one is bigger, so you can see the size here. This is little, this is bigger. We've got the reflection of my ring light here. It also has that copper aventurine or the sparkle in it. In this one, the sparkle is in a swirl along with the rest of the design, which is in a swirl. Okay, so just really, really pretty. A lot going on. You can look at it from different angles and see all kinds of different things. Also beautifully clear on the bottom. This one is from 2007. Okay, I paid 20, so I paid more for this one. And we're going to call it 35 to 45, but again, could go north of 100. You just never know. And the third one was this one, and they charged 25 for this. I did pay it. They signed Marilyn. This one is 1998. Okay, look how fun that is. Just, it's got that little hole in the middle, but it's also got all that rainbow glass in there, and it's also got some sparkle. It's just so cool. So I love these so much, and it was, like I said, 25. Value, I'm going to call it 45 to 55. Similars like this were in that range. There was a 4th one there. I did not pick it up. They wanted 35 for it. It was just too close on the margin, and he wouldn't budge on the price. So I left that one. The next thing I picked up there was a Mudworks mug. I got it for Valentine's Day for my Hearts and Flowers show. It did not sell in my Hearts and Flowers show. It has a little heart at the bottom. Mudworks is, I think we've talked about them before because I think I still have 2 of their mugs and I think I've sold 1 or 2. That's their mark. And then it also is signed Mudworks USA. They're based in Effort, Pennsylvania. Okay. And they have quite a production. I have information on them and I actually do have a photo. So the woman in the center there, that is the founder of the company. The other two are people that have been working there for quite some time, and now she is in like semi-retirement, and they are kind of holding down the fort, and I'm sure they have other people working there as well. It says Mudworks is a renowned year-round destination featuring handmade, functional, and decorative stoneware. Located on Route 115 in Everett, PA, it offers unique hand-dipped, lead-free glazed items that are dishwasher, microwave, and food safe, specializing in whimsical and custom designs. So basically their style, it's usually they do the mug and then they put something on top of it. So it's always kind of popping out of the mug. It's not like a part of the mug. And then they sometimes put something fun and whimsical inside. So this is fun. I think it's an amazing Valentine's Day thing. If not for this year, then for next, but super cute. I paid $8 for it. These guys sell in the 16 to 25 range, okay? So I picked that up. Next up, I got trying to think if that was the same show. It was. So this was they had a separate room. So this was an interesting estate sale. I have never worked with this company before, and I had driven like an hour to get to this place. They had all of their jewelry and fine things in cases in a room, and they only let like 3 people in the room at a time. So there was always this giant line of people trying to get in. This was still there when I got in there. It is a Limoges trinket box, priced a little high. It was priced $18. I did pay it. It's probably not worth a ton more, but it's got some cool signature stuff going on the back. It says Limoges, France. I had it upside down. It says Limoges, France, and then the other writing is in another language, so I'm not clear what it says. But the work on this is just beautiful painting, beautiful violets, and I liked how it was puffy on the side. So just something a little bit different. So again, I paid 18. Value on that is I wrote 18 to 25. So probably not a lot of room there. And I did again pick that up for my Hearts show, and it did not sell. So we'll hold on to that for a little bit, and then we'll get it listed. The other thing I picked up, this is so cool. I've never seen anything like it. It is not glass. But check this out. It is swords, toothpick swords. So it's like this umbrella stand. It's brass. It's got all of its pieces. And they're little swords that are toothpicks in this stand. So I'm going to put it down for a second and just pull out a sword and show you the sword. So each sword has a little design on the handle. You can see that a little bit. See if I can block the light. It doesn't really help. So it's just so cool. So anyway, I paid $25 for this thing, okay, because they sell pretty well. The sell-through rate was good on these. I paid $25. The value is $35 to $70. I would probably start this on eBay around $65 and take offers and see what happens, and then just kind of drop it a little bit from there. But really, really cool. I found a Leo Ward Bluebird of Happiness. I love finding these. They sell. They usually sell. I got it for $6. It will typically bring in the 12 to 15 range. This is a smaller version. So I wrote down 8 to 15, and I was pretty excited to find that. The other thing I found, they had an area where there were things hanging on the wall, and they had made like a gallery wall with a lot of artisan stuff. And we're going to be careful because this is a mirror. It's an owl. I just don't like showing off my mess on the table behind here. Let's see if we can just, I don't know where to make it look. Anywho, it's a mirror, okay, and it's also an owl. So it's got its beak, and it's got this really cool spaghetti going on all the way around. Super fun. Love it. It was $6. It is not signed. I have absolutely no idea of the value on this. I put 8 to 15, and this will go in one of my shows on Niknax, either a pottery show or when I do my weirdos, which will be sometime this spring. So then I got these 2 other pieces that were on the same wall, okay? And the artist was Dan Sayer, and I'll talk a little bit about him. So they're kind of just funky metal. This one has like a blue mirror in it, and this one just has like a clear mirror, but they're just meant to be like little decorative pieces for your wall. The problem is, you know how we talked about last week, the temperature shock and the glass cracking? It happened on this piece too, right in here. It wasn't like that when I bought it, and it did crack right there. Now these are signed D Sayer, and it says 11 for 2011, and this one is 09. Somewhere, it's here somewhere, right in the middle here. It says D Sayer 09. So I grabbed these because they were $4 each, and I knew they were worth more than that. This is a photo of Dan Sayer. Okay, there's not a lot of information. I mean, it looks like a lot, but a lot of it is just his bio. And basically the deal is he started doing this in 2001. His company is called Studio d'Art, D''ART, Studio d'Art in French of art. And basically he taught himself metalsmithing, and he does mirrors and wall art basically that have like little abstract kind of shapes. I mean, this is very, very similar to all his other stuff. The ones like this size sell 35 to 40 on his website. Then he does much bigger ones that sell much higher. But, you know, when he's doing like craft shows and things like that, he wants to have some lower price point pieces. And so these are in the 35 to 45 range. So resale on them, if this was not broken, resale on it would probably be around 18, maybe. That was everything at that first estate sale. I went to another estate sale. We're going to start with the Swarovski. This piece, when I looked it up on site, the solds were over $100. It's a penguin with a baby penguin. More recent solds have been in the 65 to 80 range, so he's probably only worth that. Except when I was cleaning him, I realized he's got a little chippy on his butt. So right in this area here, it's like someone dropped him. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's chipped. Okay, so that will negatively impact the value a bit. So I paid $35. I would definitely try to get at least $45 out of him. I will probably start him around $60 and disclose the chips and see what happens. But I was pretty excited to find him. He's cool. Okay, then I got a bunch of jewelry. So I picked up a bunch of Italian sterling. So let me see if I can. These are just super simple herringbone chains, okay? They're size 7. They're really small, so like they fit my wrist really well. Super pretty. They're marked Italy. They're marked with a company name, and they're marked 925. So it's 925 MBC, and then they say Italy, sterling. So it's sterling on the inside, and then some sort of a gold wash over the top. Okay, I paid $10 each for these. With the metals value changing a little bit, these should range 12 to 30. The solds on these are kind of all over the place, and I think it probably just depends on like what the value of the metals are when you sell them. The others I picked up, I got 3 of them that are 7.5 inches. I do have another one that is 8.5 inches long. And so I'm not really clear on which was which. One of them was $6, one of them was $7, and 2 of them were $9. Okay. So, and again, the value on all of these I just put down as 12 to 30 for each. And hopefully I'll make a little bit of money on them. And they're just really cool. So I don't pick up a lot of jewelry, although lately I've been picking up a little more jewelry. We'll see how it goes. So I also picked up the Monet. This is a Monet cat pin. I paid $6 for it. It's worth about 10. Okay. And then I picked up the most adorable earrings. So these are little cat earrings, but what's so adorable about them is it's got a the little part that goes behind your ear. So the cat head is the post. So it's got the jacket that goes behind your ear, then the little cat post goes in front of your ear. And so it looks like, let me just see if I can do it with my finger here. It looks like the cat is like hanging off your ear. It's the coolest. I think they're amazing. So I paid $6 for that pair, and you know, 8 to 12 on those. They've got a signature on it that says JJ, and I did look that up, and I unfortunately don't remember what that is, and I didn't write it down. I got one more thing that I think is really, really cool, and this was in a little frame. So it is a brooch. And this is like a druzy, like it's got this sparkling, I believe, quartz in there. I don't know, because it's got that color, it's probably a different mineral altogether. And then it's got these plastic beads, it's got the little gold wire, it's got these little leaves. It's just somebody created this beautiful piece of art. And this is the back of it, okay? So I paid $9 for it. It came in this, which is kind of fun because it's one of those cases that basically smushes around your thing so you can see the thing, right? It's kind of like plastic wrap. So it came like this for $9. I've got to do more research to figure this out, but just, you know, I wrote down 16. I think that's probably the lowest, maybe 15 the lowest. I want to say 15 to 24 plus. I've seen some of these stone ones go 60s, 70s, and more. So I have to get more information on this piece. I don't want to try to sell it too low, but I think it was just really cool. So I picked that up. So that was it for the estate sales. Then I ran over to the Savers that's down in Burke, the one that's newer. And I don't know why, but it was full of stuff. That never happens. That one's usually picked clean, but there was so much stuff. So let's go over the stuff. The first thing is kind of weird. There was a baggie that had 3 baseballs in it. I could tell very, very easily that 2 of them were fake. By that, I mean the signatures on them, you can see these are all black, like they are printed on there. There's no difference in anything. Clearly fake, so worth about $1. Okay, the baggie was $5.99. I paid $4.79 with my discount. Okay, so for 3 baseballs. The second one also appeared to be fake because they look like they're stamped on. It looks like a rubber stamp putting those signatures on rather than an actual pen. The third one I couldn't tell, and I decided to buy it because there's a possibility this is legit. So if it's legit, it could be in like 65 to 400, just depending who these people are. So I took it to the auction house and I had their expert look at it. He looked at it under the loop, and he kept going back and forth as to whether or not these signatures were real or whether they were printed on. And the thing that's confounding him is they were all with the same pen, which is true. But there are places where the pen writes over itself and you can see the lighter stroke and the darker stroke. Like you can see that it wrote over, which is a good sign. So I need to get this authenticated. I need to take it to a sports memorabilia person that can help me, because the people at the auction house basically said, I can't tell you for certain if it's real. I can't tell you for certain that it's fake. I'm 50-50 on it. And I said, you know, that's why I bought this. That's why I bought this baggie, because I was 50-50 on it too. And I figured it was worth a gamble to try to figure it out. So I'll keep you guys updated if I find anything out. So yeah, so that was the first thing in the thrift store that I picked up. The other thing I picked up, there were these praying hands in olive wood. I think I have a different figurine in olive wood already. So I paid $2.39 for this. It is worth $12 to $18. Okay. I got a beautiful glass plate bowl. It's like a little bowl. You can see on the side here. It's very, very thin glass, like very thin. And it's got a pontil on the back. It is not signed anywhere, but it reminds me of Murano. So I picked it up. I sent this into the art glass identification group on Facebook. I'm waiting for response. So far, I've just had people like the post, and I'm surprised that it was just sitting on the shelf for a very low price. So it was $1.99 is what I paid for it. I'm going to call it 15 to 18. If I get corroboration that it's Murano, it may go up to 24 or more. So waiting to hear on this one, but definitely worth picking up. There were a couple of really cool Persian inlay pieces. The first one was this box, the peacocks on the outside, and this beautiful inlay work all the way around. Okay, and then the inside, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of a velvety kind of thing going on, but it's in excellent, excellent condition. So I picked that up. There's no markings on it. It's got the velvet on the bottom too, or velour. Just really pretty. And I paid $3.99 for it. These are worth about 18 to 25. And then there was a second piece with it that was the desk set. So this one has room for 2 pens, and then either business cards or, you know, somebody put online envelopes. I was thinking Post-it notes. I was thinking this would be a really cool sticky note holder. But just a really pretty desk piece. What's interesting is when it was created with 2 pieces of wood that were like glued together, and they didn't paint over the seam, which is interesting. But it is part of the construction. There's no cracks anywhere in the piece. So anyway, just really cool. I paid, like I said, $3.99 for this as well, and 18 to 32. Some have sold as high as 32. So that's really cool. Then I found this other wooden box, which I was all excited about until I got home and did a little research. So it's cool. It has this little drawer at the bottom that slides out, and some of you, I'm sure, know what this is. Let me just see. I cleaned it, so it's a little bit on the tight side because I oiled the wood and everything. So this is the inside, okay, and this is the inside, and actually this is the inside, and this is the bottom. So when you look online, they're actually selling these currently on Amazon as pet cremation boxes, like a way to store, a beautiful way to store the ashes of your pet, because it will look like that. So yeah, people have them listed as just storage boxes or whatever, but that was the intent, I believe, on that. So I paid $2.39 for it. They're brand new on Amazon for $18, which means value is going to be 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 on that, so not super high. Probably should have left that one in the store. The other one that's really exciting, I was so excited to find it until I got it home. There's a catch, I'll tell you in a minute. This is Dedham pottery, so it's really old, okay? And this is their bunny butter plate. Now it does have a little stain right there that goes through all the way to the bottom. I've cleaned this and cleaned this, okay? The problem with this that I did not realize, because when I got it, it was taped around here and around here. So I could see there are no chips, no cracks, and there was a sticker right over that spot. So I didn't see that, okay? When I opened it, there was the smell of butter that permeated the room. It still smells of butter. It's not a pleasant smell. I've been through one round of cleaning with this. I'm going to try a few more things. It's going to take some time. I am pretty confident I can remove the smell. I don't think I can remove the stain, so that will affect the value. This says RAS *87 USA. Okay. All right, so I have a little information here. Dedham Pottery operated between 1896 and 1943. It was known for its high-fire stoneware, characterized by a controlled and very fine crackle glaze with a thick cobalt border design. So they started as Chelsea Pottery in the 1800s and then built a facility in Dedham. This is Massachusetts. Built a facility in Dedham, moved there, and became known as Dedham Pottery. And they closed in 1943. So I'm not clear what that 87 means, if it's just someone's code name. Maybe one of you guys know. You can put in the comments, let me know. But this is really cool. And also, if you had any luck getting a butter smell out of ceramic, put that in the comments below too. That would be good to know. I mean, I've been reading what the internet recommends, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, the other piece that I found a lot there. So this really cool ceramic candle holder, okay? I love this so much. It's signed right here. I don't know what that signature is, but it is hand painted. It looks like kind of like a peach design maybe, but this is something that holds 2 candles. You can just kind of put it at a little slanty, right? And put your 2 candles in there. And I just love it. I've never seen anything like it. So of course I had to pick it up. I paid $2.39 for it. I've got the value listed as 10 to 18. The other piece I picked up was this one, another pottery piece. Now this is Bay pottery. Bay, okay. It was filthy on the inside. It looked like they used it for plants. I think this is probably intended as a toothbrush holder or maybe a vase. Somebody has it listed as a vase, which would be really pretty. You could use it for a lot of things, I'm sure. So it's kind of like maybe a desk caddy for pens and stuff. So I paid $2.79 for this. The ones that have sold online have sold 16 to 22. Okay, so there's that. All right, then I picked up a bunch of baggies, and I'm not going through them all because it would bore you to tears. There was a lot of stuff that I've compiled that is going back to the thrift store because they're either chipped or cracked or not anything that has any value. But there were some things that did. The first was that cat that I showed you at the very beginning, the Nunwell cat that sold. I cannot show you the actual cat because it already shipped to its new owner and she has received it and she's very happy. But one of the baggies had a bunch of cats and I picked it up because of some of the other cat figurines things that were in the baggie. I don't have those here. There's a bunch of them. When I do my cat show, they'll be in that. Nothing really of any significant value. But this, which I didn't even know was in there, I opened the baggie. I'm showing stuff to my friend. I pull it out. I'm like, is this a glass cat? Oh my gosh, it's glass. And then I turned it over. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's signed. So this was signed Nunwell. Okay. So Nunwell, they are husband-wife glass blowers, Andy Pyle and Leslie French. Okay, they met in a glass studio in Kent, Connecticut in 1986, and they found themselves making more and more pieces, combining their separate interests in glass. Leslie was into color, Andy was into silhouette, and they founded Nunwell Glass in 1990 as a means of focusing this fusion of ideas. Married in 1992, we bought our home in Little Rock, Connecticut in 1996. The studio was completed in 2003. So they basically started making these cats. Now this is a black one. They make striped ones. You can go to their website, which is actually glasscats.com. Cool. And they have an Etsy shop that basically just sells the sleeping cats. And Leslie puts together different colors and stripes and things like that. And then Andy actually pulls the cat into its proper form. Really, really cool. They sell new for, I think, $66, and the resale market is right around 50, which is why I sold mine at $49.99, and it literally sold in 2 days. I listed it 2 days later, it was gone. So that was really cool. So to me, it's kind of like another thing like Glassy Babies. Like, this is highly sought after. They'll sell in a snap, and yeah, you might find one in a baggie. So I was pretty excited about that. So that was in the baggie. And I attributed $12 to that, which is most of the cost of the baggies. I think my total cost into the baggies was $16.79. Everything else is 50 cents I attributed to some of the things I'll show you. The other pieces in the baggies, there was this little raccoon figurine. And again, I attributed 50 cents to him. He sold for $4 as part of the miniatures show last night. Okay, so he's going to his new owner shortly. This was one of my favorites. It's an armadillo nodder. Okay, I love this so much. And of course, he sold right away as soon as I showed him to people last night. I attributed 50 cents to him, and he sold for $6, which is just so cool. Also going to its new home. Okay, another piece in that baggie, in those baggies, was this gourd shaker, which also sold last night. So it's got the moon and the sun and a little story going on at the bottom. I paid 50 cents, or I attributed 50 cents to him, and he sold for $8 last night in the show, which was really cool. The duck. I had a cloisonne duck in those baggies as well, and he sold for $10 last night. Again, I attributed 50 cents to him. So that is what was in the baggies so far. And like I said, I've got a few cats. That's really, everything else, the rest of it. And there was a lot of things that were just broken or cracked or souvenir items that were non-saleable. So that was that. And then I went to pick up a couple things from auction. The reason I bid so much on this auction lot was this piece. So this is a Persian tear catcher. Just so cool. What was so special about this, if you look up Persian tear catcher on WorthPoint or on eBay, you'll see a lot of things in this shape. They are not painted, okay? And the sales on them are in like 45 to 60-ish, some a little bit more, actually some around 100, but they're not painted. So the fact that this was painted, I figured would give it a little more value. I'm going to start him over $100 and see what happens. I paid $43.50, not just for him, but I paid and attributed to him. And there was another piece in there, so it was sold as a lot of 2 tear catcher vases. This would be great, except the stringer right around here is chipped off. So that piece right there has like just a little rough edge. So I'm not really putting much value in this. I will play with the attribution at some point, but basically bottom line, I paid $43.50 for the 2 of these. I believe I can get over 100 for the 2 of these together. So that was the total for this week. I spent a lot. I spent $321.20 when everything was combined. And the value on it is conservatively like between $760 and $800-ish. So it's just around 2.5x, which is not great, okay? And I think a lot of that is because things like this that I didn't know were chipped. And then I'm also estimating value low on some things, like those sterling bracelets could sell a lot higher than what I am estimating. And then the baseball is a question mark, right? I can't attribute any value to it until I know if it has value. So there's a lot of things to be learned and TBD as far as the value. So anyway, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching and listening and being here. I appreciate you. If there's something that you absolutely have to have, send me a message. I will set up a private listing for you before it goes up on any platform, unless it is one of the things that already sold. And yeah, some of the things are up on Niknax.net, and some of them will be up on eBay in the next couple weeks. And some of them I will hold for other upcoming shows on Niknax. Have a great week, everybody, and I will see you again next week. Bye.